Alright, we back on gaming. You know what? This week has been pretty disappointing within our community because, once again, we letting these idiots come out of nowhere. And not just their idiots, but their fans as well act the fool. That's right. So this week, I'm going to have to put a number of people in their place. You want to come and poke the bear? Alright, don't be a bitch when the bear come and mauls you. How about that? So as far as I'm concerned, it's time to get in this. We're going to start with the SJWs. That's right. Anita Sarkeesian. That's right. For those who don't know, last week we talked about Red Dead Redemption 2 and how the media, how they're acting up. This week, Feminist Frequency decides that Red Dead Redemption 2 is sexist, it's excluding women, blah, blah, blah. The same old bullshit we keep hearing time and time again. This is what she said. So, Anita, you want to play this card again, where it comes to, oh, well, you know, you're either marginalizing them, you're excluding them, you're objectifying them. It's funny because even in your own comment section, you know, on Twitter, in your replies, the people who support you said the same thing. Yeah, we have to do this. Maybe there will be a bunch of women, you know, who are bandits in the game. It's possible. We can see a lot of women bosses. We can see a lot of women outlaws. You know what? But as soon as that was brought up, what did they say? Oh, no, we can't have that because it makes women look bad. So, if you give them equal treatment, which you want, if you give women equal treatment in this game of being outlaws, then that makes them look bad. We can't have women looking bad. Then some of you had said, and you know, in her replies, maybe the women can act like, you know, they're disguising themselves as a man. That would be a good narrative. We've seen that before. We're not going to go there. Okay? The fact is, it almost seems like these people who are making these suggestions, all right, they don't play games. And they're following a person who also doesn't play games. Because, Anita, have you played this game yet to make these type of accusations? I'm wondering. Because you're just sitting here and saying that, you know, it's objectifying, it's marginalizing. How do you know? Have you played the game? Game's not out yet. No. They haven't. They just made an announcement. That's all they did. Gave you a fucking trailer. That's all they did. So, I guess I have to bring another example up. Anita, have you ever played Metal Gear? Because I don't recall that many women in the advertising for Metal Gear, but we can always talk about the mother of Special Forces, the Joy, Lady Mercury. We can talk about that, the boss. But you know what? You don't want to do that either because that kills your narrative as well. Because you haven't played these games because you're not a gamer, number one. And number two, you don't play these games. You just see what's on the surface and then you just go off about it. Because you want to make sure that people can stay on that narrative and you keep your backing and keep your victim bucks. You have all your bases covered when it comes to this. You would think by now you'd get tired of this shit. Same old complaining, and it's not just her. Like I said, we saw it last week with other media outlets. So I think that we need to have this talk about media outlets real quick. And I'm gonna make this very clear because it seems like gamers don't get the difference when they talk about gaming journalism. There's a difference between journalism and people who write columns, okay? There's a difference. For example, journalists will be neutral in their reporting, which means all they're giving you is the who, what, when, why, and where. And then they give you the facts and let the audience for themselves make up what's acceptable and what's not. That's what journalists do. When you have the gaming media, people like Sterling, Movie Bob, Ferocity, Ferocity, all right? I mean, would you even call him gaming media at this point? Look, regardless, if you look at the way these articles are constructed, what do we see? Bias, slander. That is not journalism, okay? That is someone putting their feelings first and saying how they feel. Now, if you're a columnist, all right, you can do that because you're speaking on your feelings, which is very easy to do. That's not hard. But as a journalist, if you decided, and I'm not saying go to your little websites where you have a bunch of friends and connections, if you go to an actual publication, a newspaper publication, and you wrote something like that, you know what they tell you to do? Rewrite it. Rewrite it. And if you refuse to, well, you're going to lose your job. See, that's the difference. We see people like the Mary Sue. We saw not too long ago. They don't even background check or anything. Oh, you wrote a piece and it's going against a specific narrative? Here you go. You can get published for that. That's not journalism. All right? Y'all understand this? That's the difference between journalism, actual journalism, and what you're seeing online. A lot of people can write their feelings. A lot of people can. You know what? I guess we should talk about more feelings. You know, we'll talk about that later. Because we need to talk about internet feelings because a lot of people like to use that as a defense or try to put down somebody. We'll talk about that in a bit. But first, I want to move on. That's right. Now not too long ago, you guys sent me some messages about Pokemon Go. Okay? Now, I had said last week, is anyone still playing Pokemon Go? What did I say? They should do some type of event, like a Halloween event. I said you should follow MMOs and do a seasonal event. Some of you guys said, well, guess what, event? All right? They decided, to do a Halloween, special. They decided to do a Halloween event for Pokemon Go to get people going. It sounds like they listened to you. I really doubt they listened to me, but it was the smart play because, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, a blueprint on what is successful, especially with Pokemon Go, all right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist. However, when the developers decided to roll this out, I said, okay, I'm going to download the update and see if they actually, stick to their word. So, number one, still no tracker. Still no tracker, all right? Okay, still no tracker. However, I will say, with the update, they did roll out a number of Pokemon. That's right. Yesterday, like I said, I was out there for like 10 minutes. Caught a bunch of Haunters, evolved the Gengar. You know what I mean? They got a number of Pokemon out there. They're supposed to be spooky. Okay, that's what it is. So I would say, and if you're playing between now and I believe November 1st, you get double the candy because of Halloween candy. Get it? Yeah, I know. So yeah, that's the thing. So as far as I'm concerned, they're going in the right direction, but they still have a lot to work on. They do. In more Pokemon news, for those that didn't know, we talked about Pokemon Uranium not too long ago, right? And how it was, cease and desist. It was a Nintendo. For those who don't know, Nintendo threatened to sue Pokemon Uranium's creator for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's right. For those who didn't know. It wasn't just a cease and desist. They threatened to sue them. That's right. So the game was, 8 years in the making? 8 years in the making. And you threatened to sue them. Disgusting, Nintendo. Like I said, anyway, you could have just worked with them. But this is what you did. Oh, we got a lot of Nintendo news today, especially since I get a chance to cover the Switch. Lots of Nintendo news. Lots. But we're going to talk about more of these things. We got to go back in the past. Like I said, a lot of these going to be back in the past due to the fact that I've spoken on these things before and then news comes out about it, so I have to talk about it. So, remember every YouTuber and every journalist talking about Evolve? How it's going to be great. It's the second coming when it comes to multiplayer and stuff like that. We saw Hip Hop Gamer come out and say, yo, dog, this is great. We saw that big titty bimbo, Christy Think, say, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be next generation. And then on top of that, she said, no one's going to play Smash when it comes out. That's right. But she gets a free pass, right? They all get a free pass when they're wrong because of their fan bases. We will talk about that later as well because, nobody wants to take responsibility. That's right. When they're wrong, they're wrong. No one wants to own up to it. So, here we go. Evolve, the game, is being shut down. That's right. Shut down completely. Now, as we know, Evolve had a lot of problems with it, especially when it came to milking gamers and nickel and diming gamers. All right? People walked away. Then what happened? It took a tank, and they had to make it free to play. Now they're cutting it off completely. So, rest in peace, Evolve. Now, of course, the development staff is saying, look, this isn't our call. We would like to keep it up. But when you don't have the money and all this blah, 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 we don't own the IP, blah, 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 I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If you didn't go about this way, I put it like this. If the developers don't want to take responsibility, because I put it like this, it goes hand in hand. You should know when you're with certain publishers how they will try and get you. We've talked about this for years. So, when a game fails and the community falls apart, you have to look at developers and you have to also look at the publishers. That's right. Because you got greedy. That's what happened. I'm sure it would still be around, but hey, let's be honest here. You really did try to fuck gamers. And in the end, what happened? The gamers decided we're going to walk away. Once again, the power of the consumer decides what happens. If it's not there, the support's not there, it's gone. That simple. You tried to fuck people. You got what you deserved. Now, I want to move on to, once again, talking about things that I've already talked about, and all of a sudden, it's a shocking revelation. That's right, for those who don't know. Apparently, over at Event Scrubs, and we're going to talk about this, that's right, Event Scrubs, because that's what they are over there, Ice-T was at ESL 1. That's right, he was there, and another celebrity has shown up. That's what they're saying. Anybody, and I talked about this, because remember I said, when they went and got Snoop, and they tried to sponsor Snoop, and they was bringing Snoop around, what did I say? You should have got Ice-T, because he's an actual gamer. Anyone who's talked to Ice-T on Twitter, he's got his own clan online that he plays with. His own team. He's an actual gamer, and he will talk to gamers with no problem, right? Okay, then. So why are you shocked all of a sudden, Event Scrubs, that Ice-T is at one of these gaming events? Why are you shocked? Another celebrity. Oh my God, that means we're getting bigger and bigger. No, it failed. If anything, it tells us that you fail to recognize who are actually gamers. You're not part of the community. You don't have your ear to the ground. You're not part of the community if you didn't know that already. But we have more news. That's right. More news. And we have to talk about this, FGC. Because I've been warning you, warning you. Don't want to listen. So apparently, there was supposed to be a matchup. Once again, event scrubs. There was supposed to be a matchup in Street Fighter V. And apparently Lupe was supposed to match someone. As we know, Lupe always, either something falls apart or he can't play or someone didn't give him the right system, even though he could get the system with no problem, and he was supposed to play and he didn't play. Well, once again, he had a matchup with apparently another, if you want to call it, celebrity. All right? It's funny. Because for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Sisqo. That's right, Sisqo. We're talking Drew Hill. Sisqo was supposed to play Lupe in Street Fighter V. Need I remind you people? I mean, because you're seeing it every week. The elitism. You're seeing it. Oh, we need to have the celebrity have their own matchups. At some point, it's going to be, as you can start to see now, celebrity versus celebrities in these games, as opposed to celebrities playing against gamers. To be part of the community. And we're not talking about the top tier gamers, because we already know there's still a problem with that when it comes to the pecking order, all right? We saw it not too long ago when Lupe was just, I don't need to play in pools. He can just go and play wherever, and then he'll get bodied, right? Okay. It's this simple, all right? If they want to be part of our community, then they have to work. They have to, in order to gain their respect, they got to work their way up just like anyone else. That's how I feel. These are the same people who were too busy, because they were being fabulous. They were being great. They were celebrities for their time. And when it came to us gamers, we were looked down upon. We were looked at pieces of shit. And we formed our own group and said, you know what? We don't need your status quo. We're going to play our hobby and we're going to come really big. And now if it got big all of a sudden, now here they want to come and say, I've always been there for you. Right. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between celebrities playing casually games. Hey, there's an arcade unit every once in a while. Or, hey, you're playing Street Fighter or whatever. Let me play. Hey, games reach reach the masses in general. But don't tell me all of a sudden that we're going to have, out of nowhere, Sisqo's going to play in this high-profile game against Lupe. Get the fuck out of here. Both of them can't fucking play. But you've got to be kidding me that this is something that we're seeing now. Like I said, elitism. Classism. Because now we're being broken down into certain classes. At this point, the top players are not going to be good enough anymore. Now it's going to be athlete versus athlete. It's going to be athlete versus rapper. It's going to be singer versus athlete. It's going to be whatever. If you haven't noticed, this is where it's going. But yet, still, nobody wants to come together and say, hey, this is a problem that we need to address. Okay. I want you to keep remembering these things, because there's a number of things I'm going to address today. All right? In more news, Skullgirls. I gotta talk about this real quick. Skullgirls Second Encore, for those who don't know, is getting a physical release on the PS4 and the Vita. So congratulations, Skullgirls, the community, Skullheart community. You made it. You deserve it. You do. All right? Game is stellar. You deserve it. I think there's still some problems with it, but hey, every game has its problems, but at least it wasn't a train wreck like Street Fighter V. Yeah. Anyways, let's talk about a game that I think that a lot of people don't know about yet. And it has to do with Fatal Fury. That's right. Now, we know SNK is trying to bring back Guru and Terry and the King of Fighters, the Samurai Showdown, all these games they want you to get hyped for. But it seems like a lot of people did not look within the community. I believe this was last year it came out, so that's another thing. Did not look within the community and say, hey, fans are still doing justice to these IPs. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, let's look at a Fatal Fury side-scroller beat-em-up. That's right, called Fatal Fury Final. actually doesn't look bad, and it's free to play. That's right, for you fans. So I'll put the link in the info bar. Now, I want to move on. I want to talk about another game that also isn't getting a lot of support. And like I said, FGC, I don't understand you. I don't. At this point, maybe it's a generational thing about not, you're only going to support AAA games or something, I mean, the Skullgirls community, like I said, you got to give them credit for, the mass mountain that they were up against, and they succeeded. But for those who don't know what I'm talking about, okay? IndieCade 2016, that's right, because we don't really hear much about this type of stuff, had Combat Core as an esports competitor. That's right, competitive play, esports, Combat Core. Now, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, I promoted this game quite a bit ago, and said that this game was coming, and it's like Power Stone, all right? 4 players, pretty much brawling, beat them up, and yet we're still seeing this. Where's the support for this game? I'm just wondering. Now it's getting to the point where they're getting into esports, but it's at IndieCade. It's like, okay, it's an indie developer, IndieCade, but why isn't it at other fighting game venues? I'm wondering this. Why hasn't the community taken it and say, look, we're going to welcome you in? Because guess what? It's still fighting. You know how many people still talk about Power Stone to this day? I said the same thing with Anarchy Reigns. Why weren't there enough competitions for this type of stuff? And don't tell me it doesn't have the mechanics, as a fighting game. Don't tell me it doesn't have the mechanics. Because it does. At this point, you really have to start questioning people and say, hey, look, you will support said YouTubers and said, yeah, we're going to talk about that shit, all right? You will support said YouTubers, said AAA games, but when it comes to, this type of stuff, you're never around. I actually have more example of that for you. But, we need to talk about Street Fighter V, since I just, we talked about it earlier, and I just mentioned AAA games. We need to talk about a specific person who is saying that they're an expert at the game now. Same person who said they've been playing Street Fighter competitively for 25 years. And when they said it wasn't even 25 years old. You gotta love this shit. Matter of fact, I showed you the gameplay of this particular person, and we know they can't play the fucking game to save their life. And for those who know I'm talking about, Brianna Wu. An expert. That's right, expert. You may be an expert in your house where you play your husband. That may be it. One person. So if he can't play the game to save his life, and you're somewhat familiar of a style with Street Fighter, then I guess that makes you the expert of the house. It doesn't mean you're an expert all around. And here's the thing. If you're an expert, why are you still ducking matches? I'm just wondering, because you've agreed to matches 4 or 5 months ago and you still haven't played. What's the problem? You're not doing anything. And I see they're doing it because you're posting pictures about not doing anything. Oh, I forgot. Now I can't say anything because you blocked me. Yeah, for retweeting somebody else. Yeah. Okay. And you blocked others simply for correcting you. Look, the fact is, if you're an expert, you either put up or you shut up. That's how this community is. That's one thing I think we can all agree on, right? If you're going to sit here and you're going to talk that type of junk, you're going to get challenged. That's simple. But there's more. I need to talk about the local scene for Street Fighter V. That's right. For those who don't know, the local scene right here, I believe it's once every month. That's right. Street Fighter V tournaments are being held here in Northern Liberties. That's right. So once again, more news for Street Fighter V. It's over at 908 North 3rd Street. So what I'll do is I'm going to put the link in the info bar to the Google Maps for it. So for anybody who's in the local scene who wants to go, the reason I'm putting this in is because I don't want you to get lost, all right? It's west of Northern Liberties. I don't want you to keep going north, because if you keep going north and you cross Girard Avenue, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get shot. You don't want to go that far. You've known you're going too far if you're trying to cross Girard Avenue and you start to see the tattoo parlors, and then if you look to the east, you'll see the strip club. You don't want to go that far. You're going too far. If you're passing the Wahlburgers, like I said, you have to understand, where this is taking place at is in the safe part that's been that's been renovated, all right? The safe part of Northern Liberties. So what you want to do is you want to go west. That's right. You want to go west. Like I said, I'll put the map in the info bar for those who are interested in going and competing in Street Fighter V once a month, okay? But speaking of Street Fighter V, it seems like gamers are still at odds on whether they like the game or not. Gamers are having quite a healthy laugh at Street Fighter V over at, once again, Event Scrubs, where gamers are just going to defend this game to the end.
Read that shit, Justin. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't.
Say it. Read it, please.
I can't.
Why?
Because there's nothing to read.
Yes, there is. Street Fighter. Street Fighter 5 is one of the most balanced fighters to come out. Mikhail went felt unfinished and greatly. Look at this shit! FGC, son!
Now look, if you like Street Fighter 5, that's your business. If you don't like Street Fighter 5, that's your business as well. I'm not going to get on you for that, okay? However, we need to talk about this particular subject on how defending AAA companies when they mess up is absolutely ridiculous. Now, this person wants to sit and say that it's the most balanced fighter. No, let's just stop that. If we go back to when Street Fighter 5 first came out, how many patches did they had? Huh? Matter of fact, every time a new character comes out, something happens. They got to patch the new character, patch after patch after patch, then new character, patch, It's always a problem. The many inconsistencies of Capcom when they've been putting this into development and trying this quick fix bullshit, okay? You cannot sit here and say that it's the most balanced fighter. When do you say it's a balanced fighter? When do you say it's not after X amount of patches? Like, that's ridiculous. You can't sit here and you can't say that. Especially if Capcom's going to keep doing this, and guess what? There's going to be another patch after that, and there's going to be another patch after that, and so on. You can't sit here and say that. You can't. Alright? So, while I can understand the laughing, like I said, if you like Street Fighter 5, that's your business. If you don't, that's also your business. You know what I mean? But like I said, when you want to have these fans who defend such antics and tactics, it really looks bad on the rest of the community. But that's not all. Now we got to talk about fans who decide they want to defend their favorite YouTuber or favorite high-level player or just popular player in general. And now we need to talk about Max. That's right, because a person comes out, one of his fans comes out and says that Max is one of the most skilled players in the FGC, right? And Max says, actually, that's not true. Not true at all, okay? Not true. And he actually is honest about it and says, look, it takes hours and hours to get good, and I'm not that good. He said, maybe at a time I could have been good, but I just like all fighters. Now, it seems people have taken they've gotten pretty upset about that, because as he says he likes all fighters, a lot of people like to point out that he has bagged on a number of fighters and how other games can't survive unless they have Capcom with them. And then he says that he likes, playing fighting games in general, but other people are saying, but you don't play anybody. So how can you sit here and say that? Fighting games are about, competition. This is what other people are saying. I'm not saying this, okay? However, I know a lot of people are going to say right now, well, at least Max was honest. That's the problem I'm having right now, all right? Not that he's not being honest, because he's being honest. But here's the thing. We've gotten to a point now in our community that we have so many pieces of shit in it that now we're going to praise people for being honest. You're supposed to be honest. That's what adults do. You're supposed to be honest, okay? So, as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't get points for being honest, okay? But at least he told it how it was. However, it's afterwards that's the problem in all of this, all right? That's the biggest problem I have. Because the person goes on the same person, oh my God, you responded to me. Like a groupie, all right? He responded to me. You're one of my favorite YouTubers. Okay, I get it. He's your favorite YouTuber. But then you go on to say that, hey, no matter how bad Max can be, no matter how wrong he can be, you're still going to dick ride him. You're still going to support and tell him how much you love his content and blah, blah, blah. Look, it's okay to be, I've always said this, it's okay to be a fan of people. Not a problem. Not going to get on you for that because, hey, people are fans. It's fine. But when you get this obsessive, when you defy all logic simply to defend said person that you don't know, there's a problem. There's a huge problem with that. And you know what? It seems like I have to address this because a number of you have sent me this video, apparently, and I need to address Max fans. I have to, because you have to understand, this isn't just about Max fans, okay? This could be any top-tier player, any big-time YouTuber. It can be anybody, and you will see these type of fans all over. It's called keeping it together. That's what it is. Keep it together. That's what you're supposed to do, all right? I don't understand this type of fandom. This type of fandom I've been talking about for how long needs to go because you're not thinking rationally. So, with that said, a couple months ago, I want to say, I talked about Max, about what he had did when he tried to act like a gangster and all that shit. And I really, I let it know how it was. Why? Because that's how people see things. All right? That's simple. And I'm talking about the real world. And yeah, I will address that as well. Apparently, one of you guys took 17 seconds of what? It was like a 52-minute video or something like that. 17 seconds. All right? 17 seconds. And you uploaded it. And Max saw it, and apparently he blocked you on Twitter for it. And then here comes the fans to come and slander yours truly. So you know what? Since you guys had sent me this not too long ago, I'm thinking this is months old, but all right, whatever. But it's fine. Let's use it as an example about fans being fucking idiots. So let's start with the first one. So let me get this straight, okay? I'm upset because I can't rely on donations from children, which you're admitting, okay? So I can't sit on my ass for the rest of my life. You really thought that shit was hot when you posted it, didn't you? And then you had someone like it, all right? Because I'm sure you liked it yourself, and then someone else came and liked it. So let me get this straight. An adult with a career is jealous over some fucking loser sitting around getting donations because he doesn't want to do anything with his life. That's what you're telling me. I'm jealous of that. I'm upset over that. Okay, all right. You really didn't think, like I said, you thought that shit was real hot when you said it. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Hate. The hate is real? Way to be a dramatic little bitch. I'll say it like this. Look, you obviously don't know what hate is if you thought that 17-second clip was fucking hate. No, it's called being critical. It's called telling the fucking truth. That's what it is, okay? Because I'll put it like this. If I hated Max, you'd have heard, I hope that he dies. I hope that his family dies. I hope that everything on this earth that can happen to somebody badly will happen to him. That's fucking hate. I don't know where you fucking children get this shit where you think, oh, it's hate. Like I said, I'm not trying to hear, it's hate or hate. I'm not trying to hear that shit. It tells me if you're going to use that you're sitting somewhere in your fucking closet somewhere trying to pick up on trends. That's what you're fucking doing. Nobody hates Max, all right? At least I don't. I may be critical of him. There may be times I can dislike him, all right? But don't say it's hate. Because there are a lot, and I mean a lot of other pieces of shit out there that are worse. A lot worse. And you say, well, Vin, why haven't you gone after them? It's all in due time. Because guess what? The same type of actions or the same type of antics, the display of behavior that you're showing right now, Max fans, also, resides in those other people who are worse than Max. You understand that, right? You know what? Let's move on to the next one. You really are a fucking idiot, aren't you? Here's the thing, all right? Let's break this down, all right? For you to say, I was trying so hard to hate Max. No, I wasn't trying so hard to be mad at him, all right? But I told you exactly how reality is. And then you say, well, maybe for him and people like him, but normal people, so now we're not normal. So you're going to sit and just disrespect every person's life that has to deal with this type of shit. But we're not normal. Max is normal. You're normal for saying some shit like that, right? But I'm not normal for telling you reality and the experiences that I've had. Okay, talk about a fucking idiot. Like I said, these type of people who will go to there's no length they will go to defend this type of bullshit. But I'm just trying so hard apparently to hate Max and to be offended by what Max has done. It's not like he's never done anything racist, right?
Cinder Chanker Ninja Dagger! Yes! We got it! Cinder Chanker Ninja Dagger. We got it. We're good.
I love this. I do. Because this makes you look like a fucking idiot every time. And of course, I'm going to explain why it makes you look like a fucking idiot, okay? So, when this video came out, notice I didn't address it, right? I didn't really say much, right? Okay. So for a person who's accusing me of trying so hard to hate Max, trying so hard to be upset at Max, you would have thought that I would have jumped at this when it first came out, right? That's what I would have done if I was trying so hard. But I didn't. No, there's no reason. And see, it's idiots like him who don't understand, and I will say this real easily, all right? When people show these type of tendencies, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's all you're waiting for. Now, when this video came out, we had to hear a number of defense reasons on why it was okay for Max to do this. That's right. It wasn't even Max. It was a slip of the tongue. No, it wasn't. First off, if you're saying it's a slip of the tongue, it means you say it in your private time, number one. Number two, all right, if you're watching the video, you see that at first because people were saying, oh, he was hyped and it just slipped. The first time, I could understand that. The first time, All right, the hype is there. It slipped. Okay. But then, if you look at it, and the footage clearly shows, the second time he turns and he says, again, he says the same phrase, very calmly, which means that he did mean to say it. You can't give me this shit where he didn't. Like I said, first time he slipped and he wants to apologize, that's cool. I'm not going to get on you for that. You know what I mean? He's apologizing for it. But the second time, calmly turns and says it again. It's not a slip. So let's get that shit out of here right now. All right? Other excuses I've seen on this. It's been, Max can't be racist because, you want to know why? Because he's got 2 black friends and an Asian friend. You really want to go there, huh? I can't be racist because I got a black friend. Are we really going there? I don't even need to address that shit. This, like I said, this is how far you will go. All right? Then we had to hear from another black person, well, I'm black, and I'm not offended. And everyone's like, see, he's not offended, so no black person should be offended. So according to one black person, no other black person should be offended. No matter what they've been through, no matter how purposely he said it, nobody should be offended. Because it's people on the internet, and it's their feelings, and they need to get off the internet if that's the case. Need I have to keep reminding you fucking idiots? The reason that you watch people on the internet when it comes to YouTube videos is because you want to know their feelings on things. That's number one. Number two, all right? Just because someone shows feelings, shows outrage, it doesn't mean that they're sensitive. It means that, hey, it's fucked up. That's what it means. Or did you forget that? I forgot. Everyone's supposed to be a dead, lifeless drone on the internet. Everyone's a badass, right? Everyone's the fucking Terminator, right? You're full of shit. That's what you are. You're full of shit. And this is what you got. These are your best defenses, all right? On why it's okay for Max to do something like that. Mm-hmm. Right. Then we had to hear, well, Max, he's not that bad of a guy because he's done charity work. And did you notice, look, I'll put it like this, and we talked about this during this entire time that this was happening, all right? Not the video, but even before when that 17-second video was put up, all right? Every time someone says something to Max, all right, in a critical manner, or it could be in a negative manner, what does he do? He goes and runs to the fans. I want to thank you fans for doing such as like fucking clockwork. We sat and talked about it and we waited on countdown. He's going to do this. And before you fans say, but how did you know that? Because he has the same big YouTuber tendencies and he makes the same moves other big YouTubers do. When they feel as though they fucked up or someone got at them and it got to them, oh, now I gotta, I need to cushion my ego. That's what it is. Okay? Oh, well, he does charity work. Well, a lot of us do charity work. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, if we want to measure charity work, I mean, we can really measure charity work, and I guarantee you my charity work will outreach his. But then you'd say, oh, now you're making a pissing contest and you're trying to big yourself up. That's what you would say. Right? All right. Charity work does not matter. All right? So as far as I'm concerned, he should have just owned up to it. But he didn't. He had to make excuses. That's what it was. Instead of being an adult, taking responsibility, and owning up to the problem, what do? He made excuses, and he let his fucking funky-ass fans try and defend him the entire time. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And I know exactly what they're going to do now. Oh, well, we're going to come in and downvote your video. I find it funny, because when I was on Twitter, and I was going at Max fans, not for these situations, but other situations where they would dogpile on other people who were challenging to play video games, y'all was quiet as fuck then, weren't y'all? No, we don't want it like that. Exactly. But as soon as y'all run in here, y'all can talk shit behind somebody's back via comment. I find that funny as well. Unreal. So once again, we've got people who will sit and defend AAA games to the end. If you say something bad about my game, we're going to dogpile you. If you talk about said YouTuber, they're going to make sure to no lengths to the end that they're going to make sure that they dogpile you and slander you as well. You talked about this YouTuber I like so much, oh, I'm going to slander you. But when it comes to the companies fucking you over, when it comes to all the DLC, the microtransactions, the season passes, when it comes to media outlets and developers and publishers talking shit about you, you don't stand up in groups then, do you? No. When it comes to serious issues within our community, when people do something wrong, you don't stand together then and take a stand, do you? No. Why? Because you're fucking cowards. That's why. Truth hurts, doesn't it? Yeah. But then I guess you'd say, oh, he's just being a hater again. No, it's the fucking truth. Reality has set in. But I forgot, if I talk about reality, I'm not normal. It's amazing how people will say anything. Instead of just saying, hey, look, the reason he may be saying this is because that reality or where he lives or other places he's been to, this is what's happened. So that's his stance. But to say that people are not normal, okay. You want to know what's not normal? Sitting on the fucking computer all day and waiting to crank one out. That's what it is. That's just what you were waiting for. You were waiting for this video. Say, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. And then you go on to another video. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. And then you go on Twitter or you go on Facebook and you still defend this bullshit. That's not normal. Sitting home for 10, 12 hours a day, hoping that kids, once again, donate to you isn't normal. And it's not just fucking Max. There's a lot of people out there who fucking do it. That's not normal. But hey, telling the truth, this is what happens, right? It's so easy to do this shit. It just is. Next time y'all want to talk to me, you know what I'm saying? Come talk to me like an adult. Pull me to the side like an adult and talk to me about things. Because guess what? Some of you Max fans have done that. That's why I exclude you from this. Alright? Some of you said, I can't stand it. You're a Max fan, but you can't stand that fan base over there because of the way they fucking act. Yes, because once again, I've told you before, YouTubers have a specific demographic with who they influence. Alright? That's the thing. You notice, when we're here, people aren't acting like that. Nah. Nope. Not at all. People aren't acting like that. But when you go over to bigger YouTubers, they got a ton of people act like that. They always talk about positivity and bullshit, and then you see the exact opposite. Because, obviously, they're not that, I won't say they're that influential because they're always talking it, but clearly, their fan base isn't that way. Like I said, for you to sit and be a fan of something is fine. Not a problem. A fan of something or someone, that's fine. Not going to eat your lunch for that one, alright? But when you act like a fucking dick-riding groupie, that hurts everything. Because then you're not thinking with a clear mind. And you don't know how to be, you don't know how to be objective. But I'll let y'all sit back on that. I know. First reaction, oh my God, dislike. Go ahead, dislike. I don't give a shit. The truth is still going to be out there. Regardless. Now deal with that shit. Like I said, y'all jumped on a guy just for uploading it without any commentary on his own, any opinion on it. All he did was take that piece of the stream and put it up. And y'all freaked out. Jumped all over the uploader too for putting it up. Yeah. Just like the 17-second clip I did. Freaked out. So if anyone wants to say that, oh, people on the internet are sensitive because you have an opinion on this, you do realize you coming to dogpile on other people to defend a certain person you don't fucking know, that's about as sensitive as it gets, especially over a 17-second video. Let's move on to the fighting game of the week, shall we? Old school, let's go old school. You know what this reminds me, we just talked about this not too long with Shades of Fist and North Star, but this is also a game that I believe still many play to this day. That's right. And it is an emulator. You can find it. Does it deserve a remake? I play like this. I believe they ported it not too long ago, and people weren't very happy with it. So maybe it just needs to be cleaned up a bit, all right? For those who know what I'm talking about, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Still a great game that deserves its credit. Seriously, at this point, at these games, they definitely need to, you know what I mean, to make a comeback. Like I said, there's so many great games out there. Like I said, if they stop making fighting games to this day, which they won't, of course, but they stop making them, we have so much we can fall back on and just say we can enjoy this. We really can, because that's what the fighting game community is about. It's not about who's popular. It's not about who's the best at times. Because don't get me wrong, competition is a big factor, right? It's not about always who's the best. It's not about who's popular. It's not about having elitism. It's not about classism. No, it's about being together and playing the games that we love. And it seems like a lot of people have forgotten about that, haven't they? Let's move on. Let's talk about The Last Guardian. That's right. For those who don't know, it's been pushed back slightly. That's right. It'll be, the release date now is December 6th. So that's fine. It was supposed to be, I believe, October 25th or something like that. December 6th, which is fine. And I'll put it like this. It's a good start to their holiday season. So Last Guardian is coming during the holiday rush. We'll see what happens. Also, I need to talk about this with Sony as well. The Silver Case, Suda 51's visual novel is coming to the, the PS4 early in 2017. That's right. Now, for those who know, this game is already on Steam. All right? They're just bringing it to the PS4. So if you're really interested in this, get it on Steam. That's simple. Just go and get it on Steam. All right? So let's move on. Amnesia. That's right. The collection is coming to the PS4 as well. So anybody who's interested in that, by all means, yeah, should be good. All right? Also, and some actually good news. This is some good news for those who are backing this guy so much. You love this guy's work. Remember the guy who... The one developer who put out pretty much a tech demo of the game he was coming out with. It was called Lost Soul Aside or something like that. And everyone was like, oh, it looks like Devil May Cry. And only one man did this. Only one man developed it. And he was publishing. He was taking care of it. And he said he deserves a deal. Remember that? Well, for those who don't know, Sony has stepped up and has pretty much snatched him up. And they're going to let him release this game. That's right. However, he will also be working with other developers. So I put it like this. Once again, gamers, because we see this all the time, if you want to be in the industry, that's the way you... Easily, it's a case where if you have the skill and you can do that, people will take notice. See, those are the type of things I feel YouTube is great for. You know what I mean? Or the internet in general is great for. Not for dogpiling and all this other bullshit that y'all try to pull. You know, all childish bullshit. No. These are the type of things that I feel should be celebrated. Because he was just a gamer that nobody knew. Imagine if we didn't have the internet. Or imagine if we didn't have at least YouTube. Imagine that. Alright? We didn't have a media player. Any type of media player. Alright? He wouldn't be able to showcase this. He would virtually no one would know who he is. But he worked hard, which other gamers, I feel if you want to get in the industry, especially a lot of you have said, that you're studying, you're going to school for development and learning how to make games and stuff. This is the way to go about it. Take advantage of your schooling right now with all the equipment that you have. Take advantage of all of it and start putting it together now. So by the time that you're done school, that portfolio is ready. That's what you should be doing. You should be planning ahead every time. Stay 10 steps ahead of the game. So as far as I'm concerned, this is something that definitely needs to be applauded. Congratulations, as far as I'm concerned. All right? I hope the game goes on to do great things. I really do. All right? But there is something we need to speak about, which is also the downside of gaming. All right? And once again, these big AAA games, or should I say the people behind companies, because we need to talk about, again, like we do every week, EA and their bullshit. That's right. For those who don't know, Peter Moore. Yeah, we gotta have this talk. apparently I'm going to have to talk to you people again, time and time again. Why are you trying to do this to the kids? Huh? Why are you trying to sell this bullshit to the kids knowing you're wrong? First off, you already made those deals with Doritos and Mountain Dew and Buffalo Wild Wings and energy drinks and all that shit, stereotyping the fucking gamer. Now you're trying to sell not only DLC season passes and all this bullshit, alright? Now you're trying to sell to gamers Battlefield 1 onesies? Jesus Christ, Peter Moore. You really want to make people look like fat, out of shape, non-social man-children, don't you? Who the fuck is buying a Battlefield 1 onesie? Are you serious? Like, this is going way too far. We saw it's not just EA either, because Microsoft just put one out as well for the Xbox. Like, what is going on here? Who in their right mind sat around a boardroom and said, we need to come out with onesies with pockets so that we can put the controllers in? Who thought that was okay? Like, really? Really? I bet you there's some people lining up to get that shit too. I bet you. Jesus Christ, way to live up to the stereotype. Let's move on. Nintendo. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch, shall we? Nintendo Switch. Look, watch the conference. Nintendo Switch. It's pretty interesting. I said, what did I say? Oh, what did I say? Years ago, during the Wii U's, before it was announced, I said the Wii U should be a game system. Remember, and I'm going to go back to that video. It should be a game system where it's a console, and then you should be able to take it on the go with you. I said that. And now we have the Nintendo Switch. Now, mind you, before that, during those years, between that gap between Nintendo Switch and the Wii U, remember, reports that came out that Nintendo really wanted to do something like that, but they were afraid of execution. They didn't think it would work. And now we have the Nintendo Switch. So, and I want to thank everybody, because you guys and girls during that time, you were like, yep, you said it. You definitely said it. I want to thank you for backing me on that. All right? It's amazing. I have to say this. It's amazing how I can keep predicting these things, and people can still say that I'm horrible, I'm not normal, and all this other shit. But the people that they love so much, that got millions and millions of subscribers, can never, ever predict the shit that I predict. Never. I mean, we can always go back and say who predicted that the Xbox One would fail at first because of all the shit that they were throwing out there. And that they would have to change. All right. And that was before the conference. I mean, remember, you know what? No. I'm not going to go down the path, because once again, then people will say, oh, you're being arrogant, you're pumping your chest. I'll stop that. But I do want to thank you guys and girls for acknowledging that I did say that. Now, the Nintendo Switch. We're finding out that all the footage that you saw in that trailer when it was on the Nintendo Switch, none of it was in-game. It was all simulated. That's what we're hearing. I don't know how much that's true, but that's what we're hearing, okay? We will see what happens with the Nintendo Switch. I think it's a good idea that you'll be able to move on from there. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. A lot, okay? Seriously. We already know that the 3DS, and I want to talk about this real quick, all right? Because Nintendo Switch isn't backwards compatible with the 3DS or Nintendo Wii U physical copies. And that kind of makes sense, because if you saw the way the games, if you watch the trailer, you're putting in this little SD card to play your games. I wouldn't think that you'd be able to ram a whole Wii U disc into the Nintendo Switch. Like, I didn't think that needed to be reported. It's quite obvious, you know what I mean? Of course, you'll be able to probably get your games backwards compatible in the Nintendo Digital Store. It would be nice if a company would, for once, say, you know what? We're going to take we can take some of the data from your game, show that you have proof of purchase, and that we can give it to you again for free. But as we know, that's not going to happen, because companies always want to double dip. We saw it with Sony, did we not? Okay. Yeah, we know that you bought this game, and it's not compatible for this. But if you buy a digital version, you can get it again. And they want to give you 5% off if you bought it again. Yeah, that wasn't enough. That's not enough. You know what I mean? But there's more. There's more. Nintendo Switch, and this is bullshit, alright? Because Nintendo always pulls this. Nintendo Switch has fewer consoles to ship in launch month than the Wii U, which means they will only be shipping 2 million units. Nintendo, I understand what you're doing. You did this with the Wii, you did it with the Wii U, and now you're doing it with the Switch. You're trying to cause panic, and you're trying to hype up your product. So what people are going to do is, you're going to see parents that say, oh wait, this is a hot commodity item, I can't get it because it's short in demand. It's very few in there because they didn't ship enough. So now the demand goes up. People are going to start running and trying to go frantic over it. You're going to see people on Amazon and eBay jump the price up. And guess what? I guarantee you, when this comes out, you're going to see people who are going to show the box. People are going to buy it, and they're going to get rocks in the damn box thinking it was in there. This is something that you're causing, Nintendo. You've done this time and time again. Once again, a serious issue. Gamers, step up as a group and say no. We want more. You can't sit here and say you're only going to put out 2 million units knowing it's going to cause a shortage and cause hysteria. You know that. You did the same thing with the damn Amiibos too, didn't you? We're going to talk about that right now, actually. Nintendo confirms Amiibo support for Switch. That's right. So for anybody who was interested in Amiibo support, if it was going to happen or not, it will be Amiibo support. I'm sure they're going to come out with special stuff. We will see what happens with the Amiibo support. Now, also, I had said online when we were watching the Nintendo Switch, I was like, I need to see Xenoblade Chronicles and I need to see Monster Hunter for this game and how it's going to work. Because I'll be damned if I'm going to get, once again, like the Wii U. Oh, got Monster Hunter for the Wii U. Then you come out with other versions, which is probably to deal with Capcom and Nintendo, and then you don't support it after that anymore. You just don't. You know what I mean? You start giving it to the 3DS over and over. So, here's the thing. Monster Hunter Direct will be coming this Thursday. That's right. For the Nintendo Switch, I will be sitting and I will be waiting because I want to see that. You know what I mean? Also, in more news, alright, just to let you know, Zelda 3DS characters are coming to Hyrule Warriors as final DLC. So for those who are interested in that, that's coming as well for Nintendo Wii U. And what's really weird is that we know that the Nintendo Switch is going to be, I feel as though, personally, what I've seen so far, I know a lot of people think it's going to be a train wreck, a travesty. I think it's going to be good because, like I said, I had predicted this would be coming. So I foresee it doing well, being successful, especially with the third-party support they have. I would like to see just the contract that they signed with the third-party support so we know just how many games, or how many years they're on board, depending on its popularity as well. So that's a thing. I don't want to hear EA's like, yeah, we're on board, and they give you one game and then walk off. You know what I mean? Like, or how Ubisoft did. Yeah, we'll support the Wii U, and then they saw the Wii U wasn't selling. What they do? They held back stacks and stacks of Ubisoft games, and they were just sitting there in their offices, like in their warehouses as well. It's ridiculous. So I need to see exactly the actual fine print, on these third-party backers. I really need to see that. You have to be very aware of what's going on. You have to. But we have more news because, the Nintendo Classic System will be coming out soon. And this is, once again, I gotta really shake my head to this because I'm just like, what the fuck are you thinking, GameStop? Not Nintendo. GameStop. What the fuck are you thinking? For those who don't know. GameStop will not be taking pre-orders for the NES Classic Edition. Right? So, once again, seems like there's going to be, maybe there will be a shortage. We don't know. But they're not taking pre-orders. Which means if people really want it, they're going to have to rush and get it, right? Because you never know when they're only going to hold but a certain amount of units. As you know, anyone who knows the pre-order game, as many pre-orders they get, that's what's guaranteed. They start to see the popularity, that's when they start rolling out more. So, we will see. Now, with that said, since they're not, GameStop's not taking any pre-orders on the Nintendo Classic System, GameStop is now accepting and selling retro trade-ins. So you're accepting Nintendo games, old Nintendo retro games, and selling them for a price. Of course, you're going to mark up the price, but you're not going to set a pre-order for the Classic System. The Classic Edition system. Of course, business, you want the extra money. Like I said, with the classic games, you want them to keep rolling in. Of course, you're not going to. It's a horrible move, though. It's just, I'll play this. It's a business move. It's a dick move. It just is. It's a dick move. And like I said, we know what they're doing. We know exactly, if you look at how much they can make off of retro stuff when it comes to the trade-ins and selling, as opposed to this classic system in general, and people wanting to get rid of their actual physical copies of. We know the game. You know what I mean? We know it. But once again, fans, community, you have to step up if these are issues that sometimes they can be serious issues, and say, no, we will not accept this. We know what you're trying to do. You're trying to fuck us. Just saying. But for some reason, that doesn't happen. No. Let me talk about, certain YouTuber or certain video game. Whole different story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But let's keep moving on. I want to talk about a certain video game, actually. I want to talk about one WWE 2K17. That's right. The ass that is WWE 2K17. Now, for anybody who knows what's been going on, you can look on YouTube everywhere. Glitches galore. Glitches till the sun comes up. All right? And they're pretty hilarious. They are fucking comical. But they're also game-breaking as well. Well, WWE 2K17, 2K in general, who are making these games, do not care that these things are, going on, and they don't care that you want them to fix it. They're just going to keep trying to promote the game, even though you gamers paid X amount of dollars to play this game, and you can't even fucking play it. Again, you can see it in the conversation. Gamers trying to back the company and calm others down. Look, fix the fucking game. No, chill. They'll fix it. And what do you say? No, it's been way too damn long. I paid X amount of dollars for this game, and it's still not fixed. I'm done with it. That's what it comes down to. Gamers, these issues are where you need to stand up as a group and say, this, as consumers, this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. They're just taking your money. They don't give a shit. It's not a quality product. Hell, they've already had articles writing about this saying, this game is ass, and these developers should be ashamed of themselves. Like I said, places are writing about this. This is a problem. And yet, I put this, all these people who are complaining about the glitches and all, by all means, don't be hypocrites. Don't buy next year's, because you know it's annual. Don't buy next year's. The fact that these games are having, once again, trying to keep up an annual, release, this is what you're going to get. Plug in and play bullshit. Oh, we'll patch it later bullshit instead of taking their time. That's the problem. Now also, I like to say this as well, okay? This should be a good example. For, like I said, because for those who haven't seen NBA 2K, it's the same, they're having the same fucking problems. The same people who want 2K to make a football game every year, they can't get their basketball game straight right. They can't get their fucking wrestling game straight right. Come on. We're not even talking about Mafia 3 and the glitch. That's a little bit more, I would say, forgiving due to the fact that it's open world and they can fix it. They already put out, developers already put out the patch and, publishers and all that type of stuff. But these type of games, they've been sitting and waiting, and you still haven't fixed the shit. That's absolutely ridiculous. So you got people buying this game and pretty much can't play it. Or they'll play it, but they can't save it because the shit gets erased or wiped. Or the glitches that happen, and it's absolutely ridiculous. They're so over the top and ridiculous that they're funny. It's embarrassing. It is. But yet, when you see 2K, oh, this just happened in the game. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, we made X amount of money off of this game, and this many units, and you have the media, well, this is a great selling game. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. You have to see what's going on, people. You have to. Speaking of seeing what's going on, let's move on, shall we? Like I said, these are the type of issues you should be standing up and dogpiling. I shouldn't say dogpiling, but getting together as a group, as responsible adults, and saying, hey, we need to do something about this. But no, not at all. So, let's move on. Let's talk about another game that, people stood up as a whole, showed consumer power, and said, we are not putting up with this shit. We're walking away. You should be ashamed of yourself. And then we saw gamers, once again, say that you're all messed up, for not, being okay with the lack of quality of the game. So, for those who know what I'm talking about, The Order, 1886, may be getting a sequel. I already know who's going to be on board for that one. April, dog. We already know. Look, the fact is, like I said, if you don't play this game, if you didn't play the first game, then apparently he's going to call you a racist. But if you definitely don't play the second game, then we're all going to be racist, apparently. Look, the fact is, if they're going to make a sequel to this game, they know they have to give more than what they did last time. We already know that a lot of people were very upset with the first one. You can get The Order 1886 now for like, what, $5? Because it just didn't have quality, it didn't have shelf life. We know that there wasn't enough game to it, all right? Now, don't get me wrong. I have friends who have bought this game. They have played this game. And they said, even though the game is extremely short and it's absolutely, what they've given you, it is fun. That's what they said. It is fun. It is somewhat of quality. But for what you're paying for it, it's not worth the $60 price tag. That's what they were saying. So they said if you can get it for like $5, $7, $10, yeah, pick it up. You know what I mean? If you want to get it used, pick it up. You know what I mean? Fine. But for what they did, and that's what the initial backlash was, you're asking us to pay a standard price for a game that doesn't give you enough. And there's a number of things they went into in detail that was problems with the game, but still, it's not enough. Just for some yelling Yahoo to tell you that you're a bunch of racists simply for, for not buying the game. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's move on. All right? But if we're going to talk about salt, and we're going to talk about feelings, you know what I mean? Let's talk about Samsung. For those who don't know, Samsung, like the mobile carrier, phones, Samsung phones, and all types of other electronic equipment, are getting YouTube videos banned That's right. They're banning them for having a GTA mod because apparently you can have the exploding Note 7 as a mod. So they're banning all YouTube videos. Apparently in the article, I want to say, well, they didn't get a chance to ban this guy's video. But, yeah, they're banning videos left and right if you use that mod and you put it on YouTube because it makes them look bad. Yeah. So, I don't know how that's even possible. Like, they're not using anything. I mean, we're going to argue that's likeness. Is that what you want to do? It's a mod. It's a game. You understand that? And you're blocking videos now. Not for saying anything negatively about it, but showing you can throw the phone and it explodes. Apparently, that is grounds to, to get DMCA'd, apparently. Big companies, again, taking over YouTube. That's what they're doing. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's a mod. It's gameplay. Who gives a shit? You should be laughing and say, ha, that's funny, and then move on. But no. Gonna ban it. Ban it. Hard ban. Okay. Speaking of things that need to be hard banned, if you ask me. Alright? Dead Rising 4. For those who don't know, Capcom is hurting their fans by charging them for a time limit in DLC. For those who don't know. Alright? And it's not really a spoiler because it's DLC. Okay? They're already letting you know now that Frank West will get in this DLC, alright? Frank West will be infected. And he has a specific time limit, alright, that you have to do things in order to get him better. That's what it is. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are upset because they're bringing back the time limit. A lot of people loved the time limit before in Dead Rising. They're bringing back the time limit, but since that was a main feature at one point, they're hiding it behind a paywall. That's what they're doing. Because you have to buy the DLC in order to get the shit. Yeah, in order to get the time limit. So they're hiding it behind a paywall. Fans have been so damn upset over this, for what I've seen, that this is just, Capcom, again, fucking you over. I mean, seriously, you already have enough to deal with the Street Fighter V debacle, now this. Not to mention, before this, remember people, it was reported when I talked about it with Dead Rising 4, that if you want all the pre-order stuff, the DLC and all that shit, you gotta go from retailer to retailer and retailer in order to get all of it. Capcom is doing you no favor. Again, stand up as a fucking group and say, this is uncalled for. This is unacceptable. And if they don't listen to you, the consumer, because they need you to buy it, then don't support it. Hello, Evolve. The fact is, people, you have to understand that you gamers, you have a lot more, we talked about this before, you have a lot more power than you think. You do, because you're consumers. And we have seen time and time again, like I said, any other business in the real world, outside of the gaming industry, consumers, customer service, you have the power, you know what I mean? You have that stuff. The gaming industry has not caught up yet. 10 steps behind everyone else. But the problem with this is because when you see the behavior, alright, of not just developers when they talk to people, or publishers when they talk to people, alright, then you have to wonder, well, if these people are acting this way, are you surprised that the community is acting this way as well? Yeah. Eventually somebody's got to grow up, right? I mean, all I'm doing is sitting here on camera and asking people to take responsibility. But apparently that's wrong. So you'll call me every name in the book, or accuse me of something, as opposed to saying, okay, yeah, guy needs to just take responsibility. Like I said, if he would have just owned up to it and been cool about it, it'll blew over. But instead, you love drama. That's what it is. You love drama. You want to troll people. I was only trolling, bro. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear shit. Alright? I really don't. The fact is, like I said, when serious situations arise, as we've been talking about, you're never the fuck around. Never. And you think I'm supposed to take you guys seriously. This is the reason why people look down on you. But like I said, when I give you some truth, you get upset. It's okay for Peter Moore to keep ramming Doritos down your damn throat, you know what I mean, or Mountain Dew, energy drinks, onesies. Do you really want to walk around really playing the role of man-child? Do you really want to do that? At some point, you got to say, look, that's bullshit. And you can see what they're doing. Yeah, they're trying to sell you products, okay? But to what extent? That's what you have to ask yourself. And like I said before, our community was never this way. For some reason now, everyone's got the excuse, well, this is the way the world works anymore, so you should just, abide by it. But when I talk about reality and how it works, you say I'm not normal. So, yeah, love that hypocrisy there. Anyways, I think I'm done for today. This has been pretty fun. I can't wait to see the backlash. It's going to be fun. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Oh, yeah, by the way, because there's so much charity, we'll be doing a charity stream tomorrow as well. That's right, Fatal Frame. We'll continue it. Talk to you later. Y'all be safe. It's just too easy. I'm out.